Welcome to the show, guys. Going to keep the content rolling for you. In this video, I am doing a fantasy football mock draft review by the consensus, by the consheepsus. It's January, and they're already starting to put out garbage out here for you guys. So I want to review something that came out on a social media post that everybody kept sending me, and they're like, consheepsus at it again, copy and paste at it again. And they sent this to me. So I really wanted to like talk about it, review it, and show you guys and pull it up on the screen in a moment here. And again, it's literally copy and paste from last year. This is the year we put an end to this. And how do we do that, guys? Because here's why I want to put an end to it. Number one, it's not going to help you. Number two, it's lies. Number three, we're seeing the pattern every single year. The guys that finish on top last year do not finish on top this year, yet they're deliberately deceiving you. It's the perpetual circle of mistrust and deception by every analyst in the industry, except for me. I'm the only one thinking outside the box. Now, I'd already start pre-selling you my 16-round draft solution, but I haven't even got that out yet. That comes out in around February, March. You could pre-order, and then it officially comes out the first week in May. That's when we know. That's when I can start analyzing after the NFL draft where to draft players. Now, I don't do rankings. What I do is tell you who to draft, the optimal players to draft at each position. That's why 16 rounds is a game changer. So in a moment, I'm going to pull up this mock draft to show you who the consheepsus have as their top 12 picks. It's pretty disgusting. It's not cool that they're lying to you yet again. So I'm going to pull that up for you, and we're going to analyze it. We're going to talk about it. I'm going to tell you why it's BS and why this deception has to stop. So this is the year. Now, in order for me to do this, I need your help, guys. So smash thumbs up. Get this message out there because we're not going to be lied to anymore. A lot of people I know, and a lot of fans, because I talk to you guys on a daily basis all year round. I got tens of thousands of hundreds of thousands of DMs. I try to engage as many people as I can in my Patreon group, in my DM, on my Instagram, on YouTube. And everybody is passionate about this, whether they have bragging rights or they got a league prize or a belt or a championship or funds, whatever it is. There's a lot invested here. It's a pastime, right? So we're passionate. Why is this lying and deception continuing? I'm going to end it this year. This year, we're going to end it. I'm absolutely certain that we're going to absolutely expose the mainstream on this one because this is absolute BS. The fact that they're giving you these copy and paste cookie cutter rankings based on last year. So we're going to put an end to it this year. How do we do that? Comment below, engage, spread the word, thumbs up, subscribe, turn on that bell, and let's keep growing this channel out. Let's make it massive. Let's grow it together and engage below. Let me know what you guys think of these picks. Now, before I do this, I want to do a disclaimer. My Achilles heel for last year, this past year that passed, is the fact that I avoided CMC. The same token, I also avoided Austin Ekeler, right? Told you to fade him. He busted. Tony Pollard, Cooper Kupp, Devontae Adams, and so many more. Okay, J.K. Dobbins, Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, who busted near the end of the season, was pretty good all season, Dalvin Cook, and on and on and on and on. I was able to fade these guys, and you guys avoided potential pitfalls if you got my 16-round draft solution. So, yeah, I mean, I didn't get CMC right, but neither did they. They just copied and pasted. So they're going to get one or two of these guys right when you copy and paste. These were the top finishers from last year. They're bound to get 1, 2, or 3 of them right out of like 12, and that's okay. But as long as we're more right than wrong, that's all I care about, and that's what we do here on the Fantasy Football Counselor Podcast. So subscribe, thumbs up, chill out. Let's dive into this mock draft review. I'm excited to dive into this and rip into it and talk about it, okay? Now, there is a ton of players here that I actually like. So I want to get this, I got to get this out on paper here, out in the open here. I like Breece Hall next year. I like Garrett Wilson. I like Jahmyr Gibbs. I like Bijan. These are the guys that I like this year, right? Garrett had a bad, unfortunate circumstance with the quarterback position. He came out recently and said that, hey, it was kind of his worst year ever. Understandably so. Quarterback was a disaster. I get it, right? I like Breece Hall. I loved him. Drafted him in the second round. Did a whole video asking Breece Hall when I was doing my draft. Breece Hall, are you going to get, your volume share taken away with acquisition of Dalvin Cook? And I told you, Dalvin Cook's going to suck. Yet, they all told you to draft him in the 5th round. I said, Dalvin Cook's washed up. He's not going to get work. Breece is the beast. It took a while for Breece to get integrated, but when he got going, he was the man. So, again, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of players here I like. But what I want to say here is that this is a direct copy and paste. So, my first question when I saw this consheepsus list is the biggest question. I want to ask this. Where is your precious Austin Ekeler? That was my first thing that jumped in my head, because this is a guy that everybody was promoting and touting and saying, hey man, like Austin Ekeler's the guy, but I don't see Austin Ekeler here anywhere on this list. Where is your precious Tony Pollard? Two guys that I told you to avoid. Let's recap here. Austin Ekeler was never a true workhorse running back. He was a backup to Melvin Gordon for years, was a benefit of the offense for a couple years, benefited off, he had a good offensive coordinator that fed him the ball, and it was a good situation. I told you, new offensive coordinator, different weapons, they're going to focus more on the pass. Things are going to change, right? Sure enough, Austin Ekeler busted. Tony Pollard, not a true workhorse running back. He was like a fifth round pick like 5 years ago. And the saying holds true, years to wow us, I'm not wowed. So I'm looking at this. I don't see Ekeler. I don't see Pollard. I don't see Cooper Kupp. I don't see all of these golden boys that they've been riding year in and year out. Why? Because they had a down year. Now, I'm not to say, again, I was never high on Ekeler, and I think their heyday's gone. Woo, hurrah, last hurrah is done. Those aren't guys that I will be projecting forward anyway, right? Ekeler and Pollard. But why didn't they see it last year? Why didn't you see Cooper Kupp last year? He had one pinnacle year in a year where he was primed and they won the Super Bowl, right? So again, looking at this list, I'm seeing a lot of copy and paste. I'm seeing a lot of they brought Jefferson up. He had a bad year. I'm surprised they put him in there. And Kyren Williams, even I didn't see Kyren Williams. He kind of came out of nowhere this year. So he's in the top 10, which again, I'm going to analyze that. I'm going to see if he's a one-year wonder. Mind you, missed some time, still performed really well. I do like the upside, but ahead of Jahmyr Gibbs and Bijan, a little bit steep for me. So a CeeDee Lamb, when has CeeDee Lamb ever been a top 3 wide receiver? He had a pinnacle year. I think he broke, what's the stat here? I wrote this down here. It was like, it was CeeDee Lamb broke the single best receiving season. It was the single best receiving season in Cowboys history. So coming off this astronomical year, he's going to be drafted very high this year. Okay? So I'm looking at this, and again, Christian McCaffrey also coming off this pinnacle astronomical year. He's going to be 28, 29 next year, something like that. He's getting up there in age. He's not a young buck anymore. So when I'm looking at this, again, I'm just seeing copy and paste, and it continues and it continues and it continues. If these guys really believed in what they said, they would be transparent and say, hey, first and foremost, we're sorry every single year that we do this copy and paste BS stuff. Because when I look at this mock draft, all I'm seeing is copy and paste. I'm surprised Raheem Mostert isn't on here because they know he's injury prone. Again, there is some exceptions, right, to this stuff. But where is their precious Cooper Kupp? Where is their precious Devontae Adams? Where is their Austin Ekeler? Where is their Tony Pollard? Where are all these guys? They're not here because they didn't finish on top. So in regards to review this, I do like Breece Hall. Love him this year. He can only step up. He was really picking up at the end of the season. There's no Dalvin Cook there. Not an issue. That offense only gets better. I do like Garrett Wilson, especially if Aaron Rodgers comes back or if he gets a real quarterback. This could be really special here for Garrett Wilson this year. The talent is there. He was really down this year on his performance because he didn't have a good quarterback. That offense was a disaster. And now you've got Breece Hall who's going to distract the defenses, right? Potentially more stacked boxes, open things up for Garrett Wilson. I love the talent. I love Garrett Wilson. I love Breece Hall. I think the talent is there. A.J. Brown got a little banged up near the end of the season here. I don't know if that's going to continue with A.J. Brown. I think he's still talented. I did kind of like an early top 5. He's in there. I just don't know if it's going to continue. I'm going to have to feel that out. Amon-Ra St. Brown, again, this is the guy we were getting a couple years ago in round 4 while everyone was sleeping on him. Guys like Laporta. Can't wait to see where Laporta's coming off because he was ranked 21 on all tight end rankings prior to the season. Nobody was on Laporta except for us and people that got 16 rounds and people that are in the Patreon. By the way, join the Patreon group, patreon.com/FF Counselor. We go year round. So again, none of this, this is just copy and paste. Like, are you guys seeing a pattern? Are you seeing it? This is what I try to emphasize. So rankings won't help you. If you do your fantasy football draft based on rankings, it won't help you because this list is going to change. Injury kicks in, right? Factors change, things shift, right? It's not taking last year's top finishers and drafting them in that order. That's not going to help you win. So again, I saw this and I was just like, I got to talk about it. And again, I do like a lot of players on this list. But to directly copy and paste for the most part every single year is ridiculous. Tyreek Hill coming off a pinnacle year. Is that going to continue? He's getting older in age. There's going to be so much value at wide receiver this year when you're looking at guys like JSN, Jordan Addison, and a lot of these young and up-and-coming guys, even Tank Dells of the world. Even Drake London, if he gets a good quarterback, he had a bad year last year. I know it was on the Drake London train, but he didn't have a good quarterback, and it didn't work out. Certain guys like Drake London, but there's Romeo Doubs, there's Jaden Reeds of the world. There's other value you can get at wide receiver without having to spend a first-round pick on a wide receiver. And again, it was a bad year overall for wide receivers and running backs in general. So some people say, well, it was so rough for running backs. It was. A lot of committees, a lot of injuries, Nick Chubb going down, guys like that. It was rough for running backs, but it was also really, really rough for wide receivers as well. So it's not a cakewalk. It's not, rainbows and sunshines and butterflies here. If you draft a wide receiver round 1, there's no guarantee these guys will perform on a top level. And everybody spent, I told you, Jalen Waddle, who's a wide receiver 2, and T. Higgins particularly was drafted at the end of round 2. I said T. Higgins is going to bust. And again, you got to see the stuff. You got to forward think. You got to skate to where the puck's going to be, not where the puck currently is. So again, I saw this. I laughed. People were sending it to me. Early mock draft here for 2024. And again, it's just BS. It's copy and paste. There's no thinking involved, nothing. And where are their precious players from last year? And that is proof that it's just copy and paste. And again, if Cooper comes back this year, for example, and he tears it up, and he has this astronomical year, and he's like, hey, man, I got another 2,000-yard receiving season, whatever it is, like let's say 1,800 yards receiving. They're going to put Cooper Kupp on top, knowing full well that Cooper Kupp's at the end of his career, had one final last hurrah, yet they're still going to paste him over. So again, guys, the main reason I do what I do, the main reason I got into this game, fantasy football, is I really wanted to disrupt it and give people actual truth and facts so you actually win your leagues. So if you're new to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe to this up. Let me know what you guys think of this mock draft. Do you like it? Which players do you like here? Christian McCaffrey's 100% going down next year. There's no way he's going to repeat those numbers. Neither is CeeDee Lamb. It's crazy. And maybe there's a bounce back with Justin Jefferson. Amon-Ra St. Brown, I liked him a couple years ago when he was like 3rd or 4th round when we were getting him for a steal. If you got 60 rounds, we got him for a steal of a deal in drafts. So let me know what you guys think of this. Who else would you put in? Who else would you take out? And where is Austin Ekeler and Pollard? Again, I was the only one that warned you against these guys, right? Devontae Adams, Cooper Kupp, all these guys. You got to watch players coming off pinnacle years. Very unlikely they duplicate. Christian McCaffrey was an exception last year. Won't happen again. He is kind of this anomaly guy. But aside from that, we nailed it right on the head this year for the most part. We had a couple downs. We had, Dameon Pierce, a couple other guys that didn't perform where they should have. But overall, guys, we absolutely crushed it. And a lot of champions this year. And we're going to do better every single year as we learn, adapt. And, we got to adapt because it is changing. The landscape of running backs and committees and the wide receivers, they're in committees as well. Look at a lot of these offenses, all pretty much committees at wide receiver where the true one isn't solidified. You look at Houston. Is it Nico Collins? Is it Tank Dell this coming season? Is it the Packers? Is it Romeo Doubs? Is it Jaden Reed? Is Watson going to come back? So a lot of question marks, guys, in fantasy football, and that's what we're going to be here to clear that up for you guys so you guys are ready. And we go year round, so make sure you guys do subscribe, thumbs up. Let me know what you guys think of this mock draft. Again, it's crap. It's copy and paste. I know it's early in the offseason, but again, just showing you that this copy and paste BS cookie cutter stuff is continuing on, and we're going to have to put an end to it this year and make people more and more aware. Thumbs up, guys. Helps the channel. We go year round, and join the Patreon group, patreon.com/FFcounselor. I appreciate you guys. Videos coming out to you daily, including NFL news, breaking news coming at you. We'll talk soon, guys. Appreciate you. Let's win it. And don't fall for the consheepsus BS. It's not going to help you win. I'm out.